And hello, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of FSP. We are on episode number 110. Yeah, shout out to everybody for being here tonight. We are hot on the heels of finally, or not on the, are we on the heels or on the cut? We're on the cusp. On the cusp of finally Call of Duty hitting Game Pass, which is supposed to be happening actually this week, maybe, according to insiders and stuff like that. And it seems pretty legitimate. So we'll see if that happens here in a couple days. There's a poll in the chat asking you guys if you don't. I guess this is really for people that don't already own it, because a lot of you, I'm sure, already own Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. But if you do not, are you going to be partaking in playing in some Call of Duty on Game Pass, or are you going to start playing it again because there's going to be an influx of players or something like that as well? I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Shout out to beautiful wife Caitlin, as always, who does our thumbnails and also put the poll in the chat for you guys. And yeah, we're gonna have a fun show because we not only have the fuzzy Belvedere here, but we also have the return of Psychonauts, and who has disappeared. So he has returned and then vacated the premises as soon as he shows back up. Now, what's up, Psycho? How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a great day. I've been busy at work, selling out on Xboxes, and getting back all the PS5s that were bought from stimulus checks. So it's been a fun time.
So,
it's fucking insane. It's insane how many PlayStations are being traded in, because we're doing that same cashless trade. So
it's funny. It's funny you say that, because I did that this week.
See?
I did. I was looking at, like, what the hell am I going to be doing with this thing for the next year? Like, it's literally just going to sit there. And the only thing I could potentially really think I'm going to be looking forward to would be if they did a big GT7 update. But if they did that, it would be for the Pro. And at that point, I want to upgrade to the Pro, and I might as well get as much value for the PS5 as I can now. And yeah, I literally got from trade-in credit at GameStop the same amount that I sold my last PS5 for, which was $350. Because you guys are giving a lot of money for them. They're the same value for Series X as well, y'all have. But yes, yeah, they $350 something bucks, same as cash, for a PS5 trade. And so it doesn't surprise me you're getting quite a bit of this, because you can trade in a PS5, you can get a Series S and have some money left over.
Correct. That is 100%. And that's what some of our customers are doing. They're trading in their PS5s because, you know, they're playing COD and Madden and now college football, and they can do all that on, you know, with Game Pass, with COD, and just get digital downloads. Yeah. And, you know, get $300 for a console. And even if you get pre-owned, because a lot of times when you trade in those consoles, you're going to get a Pro membership pretty much at no cost. And then you save another, you know, 5% on the actual game, on the console pre-owned. And then you're pretty much at $250 out the door. So yeah, it's crazy. That's all it's been. It's been trade-ins and selling freaking Xboxes, and people, you know.
Yeah, so you've seen that. There's been reports going around about the Series S influx too. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But shout out to you as well, Fuzzy Belvedere. Thanks for being here as always, bro. How are you doing?
Doing good. Just been watching Twitter just dismantle itself over Concord and other stuff outside of gaming, and just having fun, playing some games. Haven't really dived into Path of the Goddess just yet, but did a little bit of Flintlock. Liking so far. A little bit tougher than I was hoping for, but it's easy enough to work with, especially when you start upgrading those powers and things, and just getting used to that stuff. But played some GT7. Still, I got like 500 1,000 or something like that on like a 4-star card today, or a 4-star
Nice,
ticket.
dude.
So
Is that the
pretty
most?
happy on that one. Not the usual 10,000 or whatever, but also got the cars for the week for Forza Horizon 5. Looking forward to next week. Got my Koenigsegg already ready for the weekly challenge thing. Other than that, I haven't really played anything else. Wait, I think I started Octopath Traveler 2, and I'm still doing like the daily stuff for Still Wakes Deep kind of thing. Just getting like gamer score, or not gamer score, but like achievements and things, so that way I get those bonus Microsoft Rewards points and stuff. But other than that, just having fun. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting topic with the whole Call of Duty stuff, and Series S is selling, and man, maybe Call of Duty should have been this gen only. Microsoft would have really had a W at that point.
Well, they would have sold a lot of consoles probably. So like the Concord thing was interesting because I saw, there's been a lot of talk about it, and the open beta came out, which is like free for people, and we've seen crazy numbers on some games with these open betas, especially these anticipated multiplayer games and stuff like that, where they're like breaking the servers because there's just so many people playing in these open betas and stuff. But like that didn't happen with Concord. In fact, like it was like, I think a max of like 2,000 something or something like that, right? On Steam. Don't know exactly how many on PlayStation, but overall, like the PC's been what had made Helldivers 2 such a huge success. So it was kind of surprising to see that lack of interest in Concord. Just overall, just people didn't care. Insider Gaming was funny. I saw these two tweets almost like a minute from each other on my Twitter timeline. The first one was from IGN saying that Concord's beta proves that it could be a heavyweight in the hero shooter space or something like that. And I see the comments, everyone's like, a heavyweight? Really? Like this beta bomb, nobody even cares about it. You're calling it a heavyweight. And then
heavyweight as a boat anchor.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So like I'm like, what? Like, okay, heavyweight, right on. And then almost immediately after, I see Insider Gaming's tweet talking about how epically this beta bombed. I see some people just like making tweets like, hey, why is everybody wishing for this game to fail? I don't think people are wishing for this game to fail. I think people
It's
are just
failing,
predicting that this game is going to fail. There's a difference. We're not wishing that this game's going to fail. I want it to succeed. Why not?
It's
Why not
just
have another
happening.
good game? Right, but like
there's a difference.
Talking about the fact that nobody gave a shit to play the beta, talking about the fact that they made another generic shooter that seems like it's par for the course in the genre, but they're charging money for it as opposed to every other game in this genre is free to play for the most part, that has huge player bases. It just seemed doomed from the start, and that's what people have been kind of talking about. There's not a wish for this game to fail. It's a, why the hell does this one they made? Because it just didn't make any damn sense to begin with. And it's proving to be the case. It could be still a good game, but if you don't garner interest from the players that would play this kind of game, then I don't think it's going to really stand too much of a chance. It becomes end up a waste of time of the developers, becomes a waste of time from Sony, becomes a waste of money potentially for anybody that buys into it, that doesn't end up seeing any kind of longevity played out from it as well. It's one thing we talked about for a while is how Sony, we don't really trust in them to stick with these games if they fail. It's unlike Microsoft. If they have a game that kind of flounders out the gate, most of the time they'll still kind of stick with it. You can see Halo Infinite, Sea of Thieves, like these games have still been supported pretty well for a year, Sea of Thieves especially. But yeah, we're going on 4 years of Halo Infinite already, and servers are still there, even though it's not a huge player base. There's still content updates and stuff for it. So I think that, there's cases that have been on PlayStation numerous times where multiplayer games have failed and they just are given up on. And I'm curious how how Sony themselves will actually handle this, because this is going to be, if this game does flop, it's a much different situation than Helldivers 2. How will they treat it going forward? What will happen? So
like any other game that does not do well on the PlayStation, they give up on it and move on to the next thing. They're just waiting for that instant gratification, instant, gold mine that they can start, work with it. They don't want to take risks and sit there and try to evolve it and try to, if it's not, if the player base is not there right off the rip. I mean, look at even third-party games don't survive long on PlayStation. They kill it after not even a year. So to see how this game is, I'm not surprised seeing that there's no player support from the community that has been for so long told to single player games and experiences are the way to be, and then now it's like, oh no, we got multiplayer games, and they just don't care about it.
Yeah.
And it's left up to the Steam community to keep it going, as we saw.
But they're
in
showing a
Helldivers
lack
2.
of interest because this is a saturated genre and
Well,
in a setting that's also saturated as well, kind of with the sci-fi shooter.
Did you play it? Did you play the beta?
No, I didn't.
It's horrible. I got like 5 codes if you want one. It's not good. Like they gave everybody at GameStop from the company itself beta codes.
See, I think it would probably, from
Just
my perspective looking at it, like I would think it would be a solid game. Like
it's
but
just so generic. It is.
That was my that was my fear on it though.
It like I played it and I'm like, if it just it seems it's a solid game, but it's like I could do this with Overwatch for free. I can do this with every other game that is free to
Other
play.
games that are coming out too, Marvel Rivals,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals is something or characters that people like. So there's there where like it's different from other games, and from Concord, there's nothing that's really separating what
so
Concord
you're
is.
not thinking it's going to be a heavyweight in the genre.
No, it's maybe ultra featherweight, maybe.
Yeah, we'll
If
see.
that.
We'll see how it does. I hope I'm not trying to ultimately shit on the game. I hope it
No.
has some success, but it's just like something you could see coming, right?
But that's up to the
also, I see all these fuckers out there. Why is everybody talking so negative about this game, hoping this game fails? Or we're just pointing out the fact of the reality of the interest that was there. But like every Xbox first party game that comes out, like even if it is successful, you have shit tons of people out there like trying to sabotage and make these games fail all the time, right? And like this isn't even like, I'm not even trying to say, hey, it's a bad game. I think it could be a potentially really good, solid game. It's just I don't see the market for it. I guess that's the best way to put it. You gotta have players, right? I just don't know where the players are going to be.
50 million player base that is on PlayStation to play a free beta.
Well,
If people are interested in this game, you would have a lot more, and it's not because
they didn't show up for Foam Stars, which was in PlayStation Plus, and they didn't show up for
because the casuals are
Destruction All Stars, which was also in PlayStation Plus, which was multiplayer.
They want Call of Duty and EA, Madden, FIFA. That's what they want. They want those 3 or 4 games. They could care less about a Concord. And I mean, even if you look at even the player bases, Xbox games are successful on the PlayStation. Sea of Thieves and Grounded is doing pretty decent. So, it says a lot when, it's you give the fan base something that they can get into and just veg out and just fuck around for hours. It's what they want.
The casuals don't care who makes the games. They just
they play they play good games and it's crazy to see a lot of Xbox titles being those good games, which I thought Xbox doesn't make good games. But hey, who'd thunk?
What you got to say, Fuzz?
I was going to say, I really would like to see, even if it was half-assed, uh, the graphics weren't finished, whatever the case was, whatever factions was when they finally pulled the plug, I'd love to see how that would do. I I almost guarantee you a half-finished factions would have had a lot more interest, not only on PC but on PlayStation than what this did. Like, just remember how wish listed the day before was. Remember that game that
Yeah.
was a fake game essentially?
Mm-hmm.
That game was number one on the wish list for the longest time until I think Hogwarts came out. And even then, it
Yeah.
went back to being the most wish listed game after Hogwarts because nothing else really topped it at the time. And then it wound up being like a big scam. I think they could have gotten factions to that point, but actually delivered what, I forget the name of that group now, Monotona or whatever it was called. They could have delivered something better than what those guys did, considering the talent that they had in Naughty Dog and stuff. So I have to wonder whoever signed off on Concord over factions or the webverse or whatever, Spider-Man game that got canceled. Whoever signed off on this on Concord needs to go, and they should reevaluate. Go ahead and release it. I don't think any amount of polish is going to change the interest on it. I think the only thing that could potentially help the interest on it is some sort of crossover, whether it is a crossover with Marvel, characters or something along those lines. Like, get Guardians of the Galaxy characters in there if you can. I think maybe that changes it a bit, but until something of interest outside of the generic characters that they showed, I don't think it has any legs to stand on, no matter what amount of polish, no matter how many different content story drops you do. I don't think it does anything for this game. Look at how well Lawbreakers did. And that one at least had some uniqueness to it with the zero gravity.
Yeah.
So I don't think this one stands a chance. It's not that I want it to fail, but I'm silently praying for it to fail. So maybe somebody at Sony gets removed or somebody at Bungie gets removed permanently so they can actually make games that the fan base that owns a PS5 that's collecting dust, other than when I played GT7 on it, wants. Like, this is not what people ask for.
Speaking of Bungie, I'm wondering if Marathon will be like the saving grace slightly, or maybe lack of interest in that too. Like, I'm curious how it's going to do, but that will be at least on everything, right? That'll be on Xbox as well. So
yeah, we'll see if we get numbers.
It's going to be a tough one because with it being that extraction shooter, they purposely pulled people that play Escape from Tarkov, the current epitome of extraction shooter. Although I tend to disagree, I still think Division is the better extraction shooter as far as the Dark Zone from the original Division. But all of that aside, it took people from Tarkov, had them play this. Not one of them said that they would play Marathon. Not one.
Ooh.
So yes, it's a little bit of a different genre. It's sci-fi versus more somewhat sim-like military type or RPG mechanics mixed into a military sim kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you're targeting Tarkov, there have been a few games that have tried, and a lot of them have failed. Even though Tarkov is having its own problems with its own fan base as far as the way it charges for the Ultimate Edition, which now you have to repay for to get the single player version, and all the other controversies with cheating and a myriad of problems. Even with that same crowd was like, I wouldn't play this. I wouldn't play Marathon. So the only hope that they have right now is that there's enough PvP focused people that played Destiny that will at least give it a try, and maybe it clicks. I have my doubts, but maybe it clicks for them. If it does, then that's their only saving grace. Otherwise, I think Marathon stands less of a chance, other than its name recognition because of Bungie, than Concord does.
Yeah. I mean, I at least know I will try Marathon, right? Just for the sake of it, because it's the next big Bungie game, right? Whereas like a game like Concord, and also is Marathon, I wonder, is it going to be free? Is it free to play? Have they announced that yet, or is it going to be?
doubt
They
it.
haven't announced it, but if it's anything other than free to play, I don't.
It's
I mean,
got to be, right. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but like literally the
Well,
last two games.
Concord,
There's Concord and Helldivers 2. They both charged for those. Are both two games, service
$40.
games. But Helldivers 2 made a lot more sense for what they're offering for the price,
it was
right?
different.
Yeah,
And
it was co-op non-PvP, so it has, even though it's not a true story driven thing, it has a little bit of a story to it to some extent that feeds into you doing these missions, and the content that you get, or the variety of content that you get, is worth the $40. It wasn't like it was a $70 game or anything like they tried to do with Destruction All Stars, but it
Yeah.
made enough sense. But
yeah, I don't know if they've
Concord,
announced
I think, should have been
Marathon
free
yet.
to play from start. Yeah.
Yes.
And
No, I
Fair
think-
Games is going to be like, is it like it's like a heist multiplayer type
Yeah.
thing, right?
Payday 3 by Sony.
But
What's the
sci-fi.
do you guys remember the game that was shown at the Xbox showcase with it was like it's kind of like a hero shooter, but they had the cards that kind of changed
That's
the dynamic of the
Frag Punk.
Frag Punk, yeah. And we'll see how that does on Xbox, and because it's on everything too, correct?
I
I
believe,
believe it's
so.
on everything.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
one's on everything. It was on Xbox for sure. It was at the Xbox show.
Yeah. But I think it's on everything. So we'll see. It could be we might live in a reality that these multiplayer type games don't do well on PlayStation, period, because for how many decades have they been told, like I said earlier, single player experiences is what Sony's about. And now they're trying to backpedal on that. And their fan base is like, we don't want that. We want that cinematic, beautiful game that has great storytelling and all this. And that's what we want. And Sony can't make a lot of those games. They can maybe bring out one, maybe two a year, and they have to be successful. And they're not making and taking chances on new IP, as we've seen, because they're remaking everything at the moment and rehashing everything. And I guarantee we'll get, when this Pro comes out, yeah, they don't have games to showcase for it, but you'll get the PS5 Pro remastered of Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us, all those. I
Right.
guarantee it. I guarantee it. Experience a game how you should have with the Pro, and there'll be like a $10 upgrade.
Yeah,
Or
it's gonna
if it's
it's gonna be interesting to
Or
see
$20
how
upgrade.
they market it. Like, I think it'll be marketing third parties heavily with the Pro, plus also whatever their pipeline for 2025 is, first party stuff, and which we don't know right now. Like, we know that it's supposed to be I think Fair Games and Marathon, right? Other than that, for like big single player games, you could say
Horizon.
Silent Hill too, but like doesn't really look that great,
It's not really first party.
yeah, that's true as well.
So nothing first party.
Death Stranding 2. Yeah, it's kind of first party. I mean, they publishing for
Is that
PlayStation
2025 or 2026 though?
I think 2025. You would think so. I think that'll
We'll
be
see.
2025.
We'll see what Hideo decides to do with that one.
But yeah, maybe they have something else up their sleeve. Astrobot kind of came out of nowhere this year, right? So
Yeah.
Packing with the PS5 Pro.
I guarantee that's going to be.
it'll be a pack in. I think you're right. That'll be a pack in for the Pro. It'll be like a bundle.
And you'll pay for it. Definitely.
When is the release date on Astrobot? Did they actually
Did they
announce
out-
did they announce the release
Yeah.
date at the thing?
August 24th? I think it's August 24th or something along. I just took a quiz at GameStop for it. We get
you have to take you have
shit.
to take a quizzes for release dates and stuff.
No, not release dates, just on content
Okay.
things that are coming out, and we get swag from the said company.
Oh, nice. October. Wait, that's the original. That's the wrong Astrobot. That's Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Oh, yeah.
September 6th.
September 6th.
September
Yeah.
6th.
Is it September 6th?
Yeah. So you
Oh.
failed your quiz.
No, I got that
That's-
right. So they must have changed it.
It might be when it's available for pre-order or something.
Yeah. It's September 6th. I don't think the PS5 Pro will be out September 6th. So I think
It almost has to be at that point. Like
I think
that's the-
November. I think that it comes out in November. I think it's announced around that time, but they could still end up doing some kind of bundle deal or something like that.
Oh
you know.
yeah, because it's their their one game that they can showcase what the console can do.
Yeah. Then in 2026 they'll have Wolverine, right? Maybe they'll have a couple other big games. I think 2026 is going to be a big year for them. 2025 is going to be kind of like a stopgap with like a couple things here and there. But 2026 is when I expect like some more of the big PlayStation games. But we're not going to see those revealed until they reveal the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah, and I really like, even with Wolverine, with what the videos that we've seen, they're gonna have to do a lot of polishing on that game.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But again, with it coming out, what other than Wolverine that they're gonna have? Maybe Ghost of the Tsushima 2. Maybe. Definitely.
They got to be ready by 2026 with Ghost 2. You would think.
You would hope.
Yeah.
They're doing something because they haven't done anything since 2020. So
yeah, they got to be ready with that by then. So maybe possibly 2025. We'll see. That'd be a big release. You'll get a lot of hype.
If they rush to get it out, kind of what they did with Spider-Man, they'll come back and work on it, patch it up. We possibly get a 2025, but if it should get its full polish ready to go, not some 1 terabyte day one patch.
Yeah.
They should 2026.
I think we'll see. I mean, they've been able to move. It'd be like a 5-year cycle for 2025. I think that's plenty of time now. But like, what I want to say I have faith in it for 2025, but like the back of my mind, I'm kind of like still not. But they do have pushed games out maybe before they're ready recently in like last year. So maybe that's a trend that they do just for the sake of content. But 5 years should be enough time, like for that as well. I think it's more or less just like making sure that they get the enhancements for the Pro out and waiting for the Pro to be released to release a game like that. Because I think they're going to want to have it be like a system mover as well, right? So you release the Pro, and if it's not quite ready when the Pro's out, then you do it like maybe early 2025 or maybe later 2025 for the holiday game or something like that.
Yeah, and I think the first Ghost of Tsushima, I think that came out. It came out in 2020, but I think it was originally announced for, was it 2018? And it got pushed back. 2019, it got pushed back again, and then 2020 came out. I remember one of those during that time. One of those games got pushed back multiple years because it just wasn't ready yet, and I think that was Ghost.
Yeah.
So I just hope they're get people psyched, and then like, oh, sorry, we have to polish. It's not ready yet. It's not up to our standard. That whole PlayStation BS.
Well, something that's happened. So I've been playing college football. I've had the last 2 nights I had college football streams, right? And I've been having a blast playing as my quarterback, Ken Bardu, on the South Carolina Gamecocks. I'm struggling in my sophomore year right now. And I'm hoping to get a little bit of momentum going here soon. But the sophomore season's a little weak so far. But I think Ken Bardu is going to make a nice recovery and push forward and have a better second half of his sophomore season. But as I've been having fun as hell with this game, college football, it's kind of become a little bit of a phenomenon for sports games. Like, sports games are always pretty popular, but
Yeah.
this was something people have been waiting for to come back for a long time. College football, they brought it back. They did really well, despite IGN. IGN's like opposite day lately, right? Like, their review of college football is like, oh, it fails to like deliver on. It shows it was like rushed out or something like that. And then Concord, they're like, oh, it shows that it's a heavyweight in the genre. Like, it's like anything that's like opposite of what the actual sentiment is out there in the public. Like, IGN's let's run with this. It seems like lately. Anyway, college football has been a phenomenon. Football fans are really enjoying it and loving the game. Word of mouth has been spreading like crazy about, hey, this is the best football game on the market now. So you have a lot of people that have been waiting for Madden to improve, that have been waiting for college football to come back. Got to find a way to play this game. Now, the catch is with College Football 25 is it's not on PC, and it's also not on last-gen consoles. So if you want to play College Football 25, the hottest sports game, which is a very casual market as well, if you find, like, you've been itching for this game for years, and you're like, well, this is my sports game machine, or this is my shooter machine, or whatever, and they're like, and this game everybody's talking about, your friends are talking about, it's going viral, people are making content about College Football 25, everybody's talking about it. You're like, all right, I gotta play this game. Well, I'll get it on PC. Oh shit, it's not there. Oh, I can get it on my Xbox One. Oh shit, it's not there. I'll get it on my PS4. Oh no, it's not there. And we know how many of those are out there, right? So what's supposedly been happening is people have been looking to get into next-gen gaming because of this game, and people are finally starting to dive in to that. And the cheapest way to do so is the Xbox Series S, which is potentially, according to numerous reports out there from different people and stuff, that Series S's have been selling and flying off the shelves because of the success of this game. And you've seen that at your store also, Psycho. You said that, or when we're starting the show, you said people have traded in their PS5s, which is contrast to this whole thing. Because you would think if they want to play College Football 25, they got a PlayStation. But the Series S's have been moving, so maybe people that have been holding on to their Xbox One generation have been moving up to Series
One,
S.
PS4. That's what I see a lot of when people come in to get a Series S for college football. It's trading in their PS4 or Xbox One for it because they can get, $50, $60 depending on, what they have, and put that towards a pre-owned Series S. You're looking at just under $200 for a brand new console that you can play a game that you've been really, and then everything else that's coming out that came out in the past, you get to play, and going in the future, you get to play. And I'm seeing a lot of Series S's being sold. I'm totally sold out at both my stores and the two other sister stores in the area. They're sold out as well. Online sold out. So it's like you can't get it until we get them on it from our distributor. So right now they're just nowhere to be found. And I get phone calls daily. I get people, hey, it's kind of funny. I just got a phone call today. A guy just bought a PS4 to play the college football, and he's like, how much is college football on PS4? I'm like, they don't make it for my buddy. He told me it's on PS4. And I'm like, well, your friend lied to you because it's a next gen only title. And he's like, what? I'm like, Xbox or Series S, or so PS5 or Series S or X for Xbox. And the guy was like, just hung up. But it's funny. I'm just sold out everywhere, and I'm getting multiple calls about, yeah, do we got Series S's in? Because for $300 and less, because with GameStop you spend $250, you save $25. So that's even with brand new. So you can get a Series S for $275, and if you have a console, you get $50 to $70. That you're almost at $200 for a brand new console, and a lot of times they're not. I was like, do you have a 4K console or TV? Nah, it's still, I'm still rocking on my, you know, LCD, and it's like, okay, well then Series S is the perfect console for you because it's a 1080p 1440p machine. The only difference is that if you want to be rocking at 60 frames on certain games, you need the Series X.
Yeah,
PS.
for me, like, I would much rather, like, because there was a time when I still had a couple of 1Xs, and then I had like a Series S, and then a couple of Series Xs, and like just hopping between those until I was able to fully upgrade everything. Like, I would much rather have a Series S than a 1X, right? Despite the resolution, the games still look better because they're taking advantage more of like some of the next gen features and stuff, like on the game.
Yeah.
So like resolution isn't everything, right? And that's something you kind of learn as you play more. But I was in Dirt's chat earlier, and they were talking about this too, and it kind of dawned on me, like, what would happen with just something like college football, and what would happen if like Fortnite, Minecraft, and Roblox, they stopped doing updates on last gen consoles.
Yep.
If they had just cut off updates for future content, they just like had left them status quo, but all the future updates were going to be only on current gen. Because that's something like in the past games would do for mobile, right? Cut off certain iPhones or cut off certain Androids or like devices or whatever, and only on certain generations and beyond. That's who gets the updates. What if they eventually like they do that with consoles? That's when you're going to see an insane migration to current gen, just because the amount of kids and stuff that play all these games on console that just are content with Xbox One and PS4. But that, and then GTA 6 next year when it comes out,
that will push next gen consoles.
It'll push a lot. It's kind of Fuzzy. Do you think that this is kind of in a way showing what Microsoft's original vision was for the Series S now? Like, I think ultimately this generation, there's a lot of Xbox gamers that have just kind of stagnated into last gen and just been content with it, and that's been one of the reasons I think that they haven't moved as many consoles. I don't think people are moving to PlayStation from Xbox as much as like people would think. I think it's more so they've just been playing the games that they have on the Xbox One or Xbox One X, and then there hasn't been enough next gen only big time games to really push people forward. But like, this is with the third party market, at least I think this is the year that's kind of starting to happen.
I think the big thing is, and we kind of speculated on this before with Call of Duty that's coming out this year. Like, is it going to be next gen only? And to my surprise, I would have figured at this point, given that they're at more than the halfway point for this gen, that would be a time, especially if Xbox has anything or Microsoft has anything to say about it, it would make sense that they start weaning people off of the previous gen into the next gen. And maybe that decision, got shot down. They're like, oh, it's too risky to do that. But after seeing college football, and maybe they're able to see a lot better internal numbers to see just about how many people are new to the platform with college football. Oh, they just picked up the Series S. Yeah, we should probably make sure every big third-party game starts, or at least not every third party, but at least every game we own is next gen only, as far as because those within our ecosystem can at least stream them via cloud as an option. So I think it makes the perfect sense for stuff like GTA 6 being, next gen only, and things like football or NCAA football being next gen only. I really wish Call of Duty, this one coming out, was next gen only, and I think that would have been not necessarily the easy win for Xbox, because it could also push PS4 people to PS5. But if they marketed it right, possibly even do pack-ins. Hey, get your Series S with Call of Duty already included. Oh, by the way, you also get 1 month or 3 months of Game Pass included as well. So not only do you own it as a digital code on your Series S, but you also have Game Pass to kind of cover you for a couple of months as well.
So that's
But
that's a key factor there too, Fuzz. But we keep going. What were you saying?
I was going to say that's the thing that they probably, before all of this rearranging of Game Pass, they should have focused kind of on that. And I think that would have been an easier way to get, or convert PS4 guys. Don't worry about converting the PS5 crowd. Worry about converting the PS4 crowd, because they're probably the more vulnerable, especially if you're tempting them with Game Pass, because they don't want to just leave that library behind. But if they have Game Pass, some of those titles will be, overlap that they may already own, but now they can get to play them on this service without having to worry about, I gotta, start up my old PS4 just to play this game. No, you can play it in Game Pass more than likely, except for obviously Sony first party stuff. But
yeah, it's funny because like Xbox's focus is obviously being able to play everywhere. Obviously, they still have focus on the consoles as well. But I think in general, what we could see is a pretty crazy thing, because this would be the first time that this happened. Y'all remember the 360 generation, right? Like 360, the first half of the generation, they just absolutely destroyed PlayStation, right? And then the second half, PlayStation made a lot of ground and ended up being like right there 50-50 with them by the end, right? And I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen here in the same way, but as far as market share, there could be some movement, some significant movement, even so, because you have so many players that have stagnated, right, from last generation, that have just been content. If you talk to a lot of just random casual gamers or whatever, it's like they'd play on Xbox One or PS4. You hear that more than you do PS5 or Series X. It's like if you're getting a fucking haircut and you start talking about video games or something like that, they're like, I play on. I haven't been able to get a next gen. It's so common. You hear just from like the not hardcore. You know what I mean? Yeah. And at some point, all these people will end up migrating to a current gen console. It just depends on if the desire is there enough for them to want to, and usually that's predicated by games. Now, what I find interesting, and this is kind of going to get into our next topic here, is because if you combine that scenario, if you combine the value of the Series S, if you combine the fact that it's the cheapest way to get into next generation gaming, plus also the fact that a game like Call of Duty is going to be in Game Pass, that adds a little extra emphasis on a potential decision on what to get when you're going forward. Because, well, this is this much. I get my online, plus I also get the lineup of games to play day and date, plus something as if they actually educate themselves. I got 10% off because I'm a subscriber on EA Play or on college football and EA games and stuff like that. So for this crowd that is like Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA, like NBA, all this kind of stuff, right? Add into there the ABK games, whatever else they potentially announce, and add in there all the other big games that are going to be announced and coming out. Add in there something like Doom, right? That's going to be was that announced for next year, or is that they not say a year on that one yet? I don't remember. But you got Fable.
I don't remember if they mentioned a year, but I have a feeling it's probably 2025.
South and Midnight games like Flight Sim, just a bunch of random stuff. You got Indiana Jones this year. You got Avowed. It's like, okay, there's a slate of games that I know you get access to, plus also a cheap entry point hardware wise, plus Call of Duty, which a lot of these people are buying the game every fucking year, right? It's kind of like, well, oh shit. And even something I think as simple as Modern Warfare 3 now finally hitting Game Pass potentially this week. Like, okay, is this the time I finally move up? I got college football. I can play the next gen version of Call of Duty. People that have been playing last gen, right? Like, I can play that and I don't even have to buy the enhanced edition or whatever. I get the access to it. I think this ABK acquisition, I think these games like Also, Star Wars Outlaws is next gen only. Assassin's Creed Shadows, that is next gen only. And things like that are going to consistently start pushing more and more people to get a console. And I think that Game Pass and the Call of Duty thing is that X factor to help people push them over the edge. We'll see. It's not going to be for everybody, but even if they get a percentage, right? If they get like PS4 players upgrading to next gen console, even if they get like 15% of those players that have been playing on PlayStation 4 and like move up, that's a significant thing. And you see the games that are the top 10 games played, right, on these lists every month, and it's really not about the exclusives, right? It's not about those big PlayStation exclusives that a lot of people would seem to believe. And if it is, well, it kind of hurts PlayStation right now that I think there's a lack of those announced. So overall, I think they could make some improvement Xbox wise with the market share, and I think Call of Duty is going to have an impact there. Modern Warfare 3 hits Game Pass this week. Do we see either an influx potentially in Game Pass subscribers, even just from this game, even though a lot of people that would have bought it would have just bought it day one, right? But do we still see people like, okay, well, I've been on the fence about COD, but maybe now I'm going to give it a go? Or also Game Pass subscribers all of a sudden give Call of Duty a shot again after they've been kind of burnt out on it from years ago. I think we see an influx.
Yeah. I mean, we could.
Go ahead.
I mean, we definitely could see an influx of people that were on the fence with the new COD because of all the backlash from, the IGNs and the other journalists out there, people that were not really sold on it, that could have possibly held out, and then being like, oh, well, you know what? I don't have a big stake when I just get a membership, try it out, see if I like it, and then if they do like it, I'm like, oh, what have I been missing? I've been missing out on this Call of Duty. And the next one's coming out, and it's going to be in Game Pass, and that could definitely get word of mouth within a group of friends. And if they're like, hey, dude, I'm getting an Xbox. All right, I love Xbox back in the 360. And then it could be something that drives that, people switching back to Xbox, possibly if they've been holding out. And definitely people that haven't gone back into Call of Duty could come back and be, all right, yeah, this is not bad. I like the other games. Let me check out, whatever. And let me try this, I heard this one, Cold War is pretty cool. The next Black Ops is going to be just around the corner. Let me try the one that came out just not too long ago. So it could just drive up sales, drive up engagement for Xbox, Call of Duty again, and word of mouth and people playing it, streaming it. Things happen. It's weird, but especially with people that don't want to pay to get a Call of Duty again, Game Pass is a easy solution for that because they can just check it out for a monthly subscription fee.
Yeah. I think there's going to be like, even just from this, like once it's officially announced, there's going to be like Call of Duty's and Game Pass. Yeah, it's just going to kind of hit a little different, What do you think, Fuzz?
I think they get a nice influx of people playing. I don't know if they get new subscribers or enough to make it a notable mention, but I do think people start paying attention. Like, let's say there's 2 million players playing Modern Warfare 3 now. It's probably more than that, but let's say there's only 2 million playing. I think by the time it comes into Game Pass, it gets closer to 5 million or more. So that'll probably be a more significant thing. But as far as people new to Game Pass signing up, I think you might only see like in the hundreds of thousands kind of range. But there'll be a lot of people like, well, I'll just wait until Black Ops 6 comes, and then that's when you'll see the bigger influx. Like it hopefully will make enough noise that the people that are completely oblivious to any Call of Duty coming to Game Pass start taking notice. And I think that will be a nice lead up get more people to pay attention to it. But as much as I love the Xbox platform, I hate their limited marketing.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like I really wish, and I was just like thinking it's almost to the point where it's like the fans should actually start doing the commercials. As crazy as that sounds, like somebody should be at like a GameStop, if you can even film your own commercial at a GameStop, and be like, all right, yeah, I want to get that new Call of Duty, and then like somebody pops up and is like, wait, before you buy it, for the price of that game, you can get a subscription for 6 months and get access to all of these Call of Duties or all of these games. And it's like, just have something like that. Like, that's the type of thing they need to start doing, or showing a household of everybody's either on their phone or tablet, or one person's on a computer or a laptop and the other one's watching the TV and playing games there. And it's like, Game Pass will be able to, satisfy everyone that's playing these like, older mobile games. Like they could show a game from like last gen that somebody's playing. It's like, oh, you can get the latest and greatest. And for a small fee of $20 a month, you can have all the latest. And they just need to advertise. Like I think that's probably the biggest thing that there's still, other than us that's in the know, like the casual that's going to go out there and buy Call of Duty and have been doing so for probably the past 20 years. I don't think they know, or a majority of them don't know that Game Pass either exists or what it's all about. They heard their buddy said it's good, and then another coworker that they know is like, don't bother type of thing. But there's no like real info out there that's like, as soon as you walk into a GameStop, like that whole deal that they had with GameStop, it should almost be like, hey, here's a free 7-day trial or something. I know that would be giving out a lot of store codes, but it's almost like that should be the approach that they should have used, that partnership with GameStop to some extent, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like, the big, huge thing that will happen, that it will move things as far as like subscribers and stuff like that, will be obviously when Black Ops 6 hits. Because it's going to be one of the more anticipated Call of Duties in a long time. It has a longer development cycle. It's Treyarch's next big COD, right? Modern Warfare 3, I think the majority of people, like you said, like that wanted it, probably already had bought it, but I do think there's some people that will give it a go. But I'm curious, like, what it means, because this is going to be the first time we see this where like Call of Duty's home is in Game Pass, right? So we're gonna all of a sudden see that marketing start to hit with it. And then I'm curious about some of the past CODs. When do those start moving over as well? Because if they just start with Modern Warfare 3 now, when do they do the past Black Ops games? When do they do the other Modern Warfares? When do they do Vanguard and stuff like that? Because they could literally do like one a month here, like kind of coming up and leading up to Call of Duty's launch, and just keep Call of Duty in the name like of Game Pass synonymous, leading into Black Ops 6, and where you're kind of getting people accustomed to Call of Duty synonymous with Game Pass, right? And obviously the best way to do it is start with the one that most people are playing right now, and that's Modern Warfare 3, right? I noticed last week that the Call of Duty launcher was in the Game Pass section in my library. If you just go in your library and like in the Game Pass into like recently added or whatever, the launcher's there. But if you click on it, like, I mean, it's just, there's nothing to it. It just takes you to the regular launcher. But I find it interesting that happened, and I think that's going to be something that is always going to stay there. It's always going to be like in the forefront in the Game Pass section. You're always going to see Call of Duty section, and there's going to be a shit ton of Call of Duty games to choose from. And it's just, and overall, that's got to have an impact. Black Ops 6 hits, they start the marketing train for that. You're going to see a lot of conversation. And will it cause people, when they're making those decisions on those other games, to say, hey, maybe I should consider actually moving to an Xbox, right? If you don't, if you got PC, hey, guess what? we luck out because we get to fucking play it on PC too. And that's what Jasper was saying in the chat earlier, was like, hey, means that he can play on PC without having to double dip. That's one of these added benefits where people say, well, Xbox, they're focused on everywhere and all that kind of stuff sucks. They focus more on the console and just only the console and stuff like that. But for me, I'm looking at it like, hell yeah, I can play on my PC too now, and I don't have to double dip on it. And that's going to be the same with all the Call of Duties going forward. That's what I look forward to, the cross progression, cross buy, cross save, Game Pass implementation there. That's going to be pretty damn cool, right? And I think Call of Duty players will end up appreciating that, because that's an added value. Remember when they sat down at that business like update event, they talked about the hallmarks, about staples, about what makes Xbox different and stuff. It was things like cross buy, cross progression, cross save, and all this kind of stuff, right? And that's going to be unique to PC and Xbox. It's like, I don't think they grant dual ownership from PlayStation to PC, because it's not on it's just going to be your Xbox store, right? And your Game Pass app. I think that makes an impact. I think it makes a difference. I think you start to see this Call of Duty player base start to appreciate things like that, right? People that weren't really familiar with it before. So yeah, all in all, I can't wait to see kind of what impact it has. It's going to be interesting to kind of keep an eye on. But more so than that, I'm just excited to see like new players, to see if people give it a go. I know people in the chat. I had a poll up. Are you going to be playing Call of Duty and Game Pass? It was like 80% in the chat said yes. So maybe that's because you guys haven't decided, or just kind of like burnt out on Call of Duty, haven't played it for years, and now all of a sudden it's back, so you want to get into it. But yeah. Roberto Mark says, you think you can get PC Game Pass and play it on a console? Nope, you can't. Game Pass Ultimate, motherfucker. It's called Game Pass Ultimate. You get Game Pass Ultimate, you get access to get PC Game Pass, plus also you get access to the console Game Pass, which has all the day and date games. It's called Game Pass Ultimate. I'm not talking about PC Game Pass, bro. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. You obviously are not familiar with the subscription services. I question you right now, Roberto, because you said you can't. Everybody in the chat, tell Roberto how wrong he is. You can go on your PC right now, and if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can play any of the fucking first-party games that are on PC, and also play on Xbox and do cross progression and all that shit. And he says it's not 11. Did I say it was $11.99? PC Game Pass is $11.99. I'm talking about Ultimate, bro. Ultimate is $19.99. $19.99 per month for Game Pass Ultimate, and you get PC Game Pass included with it. PC Game Pass is a part of it, plus also EA Play is a part of it. So you get access to other EA games that have been out for a while that eventually hit that service. You get to play the back catalog. It's not $11.99. That's your point. Who the fuck said anything about $11.99? Who said anything about $11.99?
I know it wasn't me.
The only person that said anything about $11.99 is you, bro. Yeah.
Troll's going troll.
Troll's gonna troll. I can get the fuck out of here.
Bye.
One of the big things now is
Bye.
with how they're releasing some of these slow. I'm wondering if they kind of know that the servers are going to take a big hit with people hopping back into these games. Plus, with Call of Duty coming to Game Pass, if that's going to weigh down the servers or weigh down the systems in general, because I definitely see with this one being, Black Ops being anticipated, Modern Warfare 3, which is already still doing numbers, considering it sold. It was number 2 in sales last year, only beat out by, Hogwarts, which Hogwarts had the entire year of sales to be able to outdo Call of Duty in 2 months kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see, how the servers hold up. I'm pretty sure they're prepared, but I don't know. It might get scary. People will be like, why is Xbox down? Why isn't anything working? Oh, it's because everybody's playing the game.
Yeah, there's gonna be that's true. That's a good point. Like we've seen a couple outages already, like this year, right? And when there are outages, guess who's gonna be on COD? Guess who's gonna be getting the blame? It's gonna be Microsoft. It won't be Activision.
Mhm.
People won't be coming after Activision. They'll be coming after Xbox, right? But it's crazy how many players there are across all these live service games that they have, and maintaining that is a lot more than one or two live service games. You wonder about like the infrastructure and how that's gonna add up over time and stuff for PlayStation if they actually have a few successful live service games. So Xbox, they got Sea of Thieves, they got Minecraft, they got Grounded, they got State of Decay, they got Halo Infinite, Elder Scrolls Online, fucking Fallout 76, which is a huge amount of players now. Like, imagine managing all these live service games, Call of Duty, Diablo. It's a lot. It's a lot, all for one company. And some of these are some of the top played games on PlayStation also, right? So I think it's just going to be kind of par for the course and more in line with what we've seen there. Let's see here. Yeah, Magnum was talking in the chat about Game Pass not having like a good year this year. I don't know, man. I've had a lot of fun with Game Pass. Just this past week. I mean, even media members writing articles about how amazing. Like this is probably the best week ever. You have Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess. You had Dungeons of Hinterberg, which people are absolutely loving. You have Flintlock. There's the Magical Delicacy game that people are actually really liking a lot too. Plus, also, guess where you got a 10-hour trial for college football that it did massive numbers. Was in Game Pass Ultimate because of EA Play, and also I took advantage of my 10% discount when I bought the game. Right, so multiple benefits there paying off. Brett Bingham says, "I got an idea for an Xbox commercial. You can now hold America's Peach in your hands with Captain America's butt-themed Xbox controller." Absolutely, let's go. Have y'all seen those controllers?
I'm surprised they haven't done a Master Cheeks one.
Oh my god, that's a fucking brilliant idea. Fuzzy. Say, we are sad to see Master Cheeks go after the cancellation of the show. To commemorate the moment, we have honored Master Chief with this limited edition Master Cheeks controller. God, that would be like how they flipped Craig.
Yeah.
When they did their own memes with Craig and they embraced it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
they could embrace Master Cheeks with the Master Cheeks controller, the internet would go ape shit for that, dude. You're absolutely right. Xbox needs to hire Fuzzy Belvedere. Would you guys buy a Master Cheeks controller? Oh god, this has got to be a poll. This has got to be a poll. Would you buy a Master Cheeks controller, Psycho?
Oh.
Psycho's gone. He's already going to try and look for it to pre-order it.
No, yeah, exactly. I was trying to find it, and it's not available. Sure, why not? I mean, I saw a video with Ryan Reynolds and what's his name? Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
With unboxing the controllers, and they got Ryan got a black and red lanyard, Xbox lanyard. Hugh got the blue with yellow for Wolverine. It was just hilarious. It's on the IGN video, or clip. You can see it's out there on Twitter. But yeah, why not? I mean, it's magnetic. You can take it off if you want to actually play with it. But just can you imagine all the characters getting Master Cheek, get these cheek collection controllers?
Like
Marcus
Phoenix. Oh, you're talking about you want the women controllers.
Well, Lucis Augustus had a good one. Have a Cortana one. as well.
Oh yeah.
But then you grab it and it's just like holographic. Like your hands just go through it. I'm trying, Cortana. I can't. Anyway.
You know how to hit my buttons, Chief.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Y'all think we see a revival of the show?
Yes. And by the way, please, I hope people understand and truly know that Goat Gaming, he is just an Xbox trolling account. He likes to he just posts stuff to post stuff, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Is that why you shared it in our DMs with no context, Psycho?
Yes.
Like
it's one of those,
it was news. Like we usually share news, and if it's like a joke, we'll like make a laugh emoji or something. But you shared Goat Gaming's Christopher Nolan thing in our DMs.
Yes. I was at work. So I can't sit there. I saw him like, what the fuck is this? I see it on Facebook and people like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I'm like, bro, guys. I'm like, oh my god, this guy is duping everybody. I'm like, no, I would like to see it come somewhere else. Amazon, give it the Fallout treatment. Go follow the the actual content, and not even following the lore or going verbatim with what we already have, but stick to the source material and the fact of, Master Chief doesn't take off his helmet. I'm sorry, I always had an issue with that. It was whatever, but when the second season, he was almost never in his Mjolnir suit. I was like, okay, what? At this point, they're just fucking trolling us. I was just like, it's fine. I didn't like the love story. There were, the only dynamic that was between was Chief and fucking Cortana, and just leave it to that. Leave that dynamic going. You could focus on making it a little bit grittier with, the flood. You can definitely do so much more than what Paramount gave us.
Well, they were starting to. The only thing that's disappointing a little bit is like that's where things were starting to go. Like we had I don't want to spoil the show if anybody actually cares to watch season 2, but like they were starting to get into that stuff more.
Yeah, but they waited too long.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
They waited way too long, and that's
too much of the relationship stuff and not
yeah, we don't need that bullshit, because you know what, Chief, his lady was the fucking UNC in Katana. That was his love, was making sure he saved humanity from the fucking Covenant. That's where the dynamic where they should have went with. The first episode was phenomenal.
Psycho, are you on a carousel?
No.
Okay, you're like, did y'all hear carousel music when he talks?
No, that's House Flipper 2.
Oh, okay.
That's House Flipper 2.
I can just imagine you sitting on a fucking carousel horse right now podcasting, because it sounds like carousel music, dude.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, keep going.
But no, I think they just they just strayed away from what was great, and Fallout didn't do that. Fallout gave us a really great story, stuck to the humor, the atmosphere. You really felt this was part of that universe, and they didn't do that with Halo. Halo was trying to do its own thing, and Pablo is master. Like, it was like, I'm Pablo whatever and I am Master Chief. No, you're a nobody, and Chief is the real person that you need to portray. You did not portray Master Chief. You portrayed John, and then that for me was not what the show should have been.
Yeah. Does somebody pick it up, Fuzz?
I yield my time.
Yield your time.
Hopefully Amazon is the ones that pick it up. Like for what they did with the Fallout series, I think they would probably be the better place to go.
Yeah.
Netflix would be a close second. Here and there doing the Gears one, both animated and I guess live action as well. So yeah, those two I think would have been better to begin with. Not knocking Paramount, but now Paramount being merged with Skydance, which they make their own video games and other movie and TV stuff. Yeah, it's probably best to move it to Amazon. Keep on building that relationship between Microsoft and Amazon, or build up the relationship even better with Netflix, since they're doing their advertising stuff as well on the back end, and they had that relationship where they kind of help Netflix with their streaming service to begin with 2 generations ago. So
yeah,
one of those two I think would be a better home. I don't think they need to reboot it, just pick up from season 3. Everybody seemed to like season 2 better than season 1, and just keep leaning more into the lore of everything that the Halo universe has to offer. Stop with the cheek stuff, stop with the helmet off stuff. This is not Mandalorian. You don't need to do that stuff. Just
but
make a
even
video as
Mandalorian,
video game show.
In season 1 of Mandalorian, they waited till like towards the end, and it was like for like a very short moment, right? I think if like that's what they did with the show with Halo, people would have been like, okay, right?
Yeah.
Like, but Mandalorian more so than not, you have you have a helmet on, I think. J-Mac, member for 21 months earlier, said Series S, fully loaded potato, hashtag Xbox World Order is real thing. Yeah, I think Series S is starting to make some moves, man. But we'll see what the impact is on the actual numbers next time they do like a quarterly thing or like a financial report, or if they do something like that. And also, we have to remember, even if there is positive momentum in the console space, for Xbox, it's still not telling the entire picture of what all the ecosystem's about, because they're trying to get gamers everywhere. Let's just be honest, right? Brandon Martin hit us with a $5 super chat. Says, Modern Warfare 3 is a good game. I worked on Modern Warfare 3, and I have just 1,300 hours alone in the game. Plus, Season 5 comes out Wednesday when Modern Warfare 3 drops into Game Pass. Yeah, that's a good timing for it, too, when you have a seasonal drop, because you always usually have an influx of players come back as well. And I've always thought Modern Warfare 3 was a good game. I remember, again, the contrarians themselves, IGN, like trashed on it, gave it like a 4 or 5 or some shit like that, some absolutely atrocious score, saying it was like the worst Call of Duty ever or something like that. But like, meanwhile, you had the Call of Duty community saying it was like the best multiplayer that they played in a very, very long time. And the campaign was just like, it was okay, right, for some. I think ultimately the campaign on Modern Warfare 3, what stood out was it seemed kind of obvious that they took pieces from past made content to kind of establish like a longer experience, where this could have been Modern Warfare 2.5, right? And they expanded it potentially into Modern Warfare 3 by lengthening the campaign with some good ideas using assets that they maybe already had, like past Warzone maps and stuff like that. But like ultimately, like the sandbox style gameplay for the campaign, a lot of people actually really like it too. I actually really like the zombies mode in Modern Warfare 3. That was something that I actually found very fun and new and interesting. Whereas they're going back to traditional round-based zombies for Call of Duty Black Ops, which is what the more the community wants. But all in all, like Modern Warfare 3 for me was a really fun, good multiplayer Call of Duty game, and it still it still holds up. It came out like in November. Yeah, of course it still holds up. But if you play today, they have these other modes. Like I played the one where it kind of looks like Minecrafty or whatever. It's pretty fun. And there's lots of content. Season 5 comes out. We'll be diving in to check out if there's an influx of players, like what the new season's all about and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of excited for it, personally. And I didn't know you. Maybe I did know this before, Brandon. I didn't know you but I don't know if I knew that you worked on it. But hey, I'm curious what you did on it, and good job, because it's a good game. And I'm curious what you may be working on next. That's what I'm more curious about. Anyway, shout out to Luke Lore in the chat. Xbox expansion pass says, I loved the Modern Warfare 3 campaign. Yeah, a lot of people liked it for mixing it up. It was different. Right? It was different, had added a different flavor. It's not a bad, like, bad for Call of Duty is like better than most games. Especially you talk about like shooter genre and all this kind of stuff. You talk about the quality of the graphics, the quality of the gameplay, the quality of the maps, the gunplay, everything in that like is top notch, right? And you will have complaints among the community of this established franchise being like, oh, it should be more like this other past Call of Duty, or like I remember when it was used to be like this, it should be like this, or whatever. And you always have your nitpicks and your complaints, and sometimes certain things can get overblown. But in general, that just was because the expectations that it has, because it's such a massive, popular game. Halo has the same problem. You can have the biggest, best Halo game ever made, and you're still not going to make everybody happy. Like, these games are on another scale. They're not graded or judged fairly comparative to other games in the industry. And once you achieve that status as a franchise, it can be a little unfair, I think, so to the developers, and sometimes because like they may have crafted something that's fucking gorgeous, it's fun, amazing gameplay, and all that stuff. And people be like, I preferred this other one that had this instead, so this game is shit. Right?
It didn't have split screen co-op at launch.
Right. So it's like
2 out of 10.
All of a sudden the whole game is garbage because of this, and it's like, is that really fair when almost like no other games exist that have all of these other things in it, because it's such a monumental task to be able to achieve what they've done? It can become a little bit unfair, I think, to some of these franchises. I think Assassin's Creed is going through that now, where people are just over paying attention to the wrong things with what this game is going to be like when it comes out, and it's having to battle against some stupid controversies and stuff like that people are creating. You had a game like Gears, like 4 and 5, I think were really good games, but they're ultimately always going to be compared to Gears 1, 2, and 3. Right? Like, it's just when you achieve certain levels as a franchise, it's almost like you can't win. Unless you scrap everything and start all over again and stay absent for a very long time, to the point to where the community just is begging for something. Right? But we'll see.
A reboot every 10 years might be kind of a way to look at it. I mean, look at God of War.
But now it takes like fucking 6 years to make a game. So like, you're talking about every other game at that point, reboot, you know? That's just the world we live in though now, man. Like,
yeah.
Battlefield, the same way. Like, I think that obviously there's been more flaws in the last Battlefield release, but like, even if you go back to all the other Battlefields before that, they all had their issues at launch, a lot of big time issues at launch, right? But this one was judged more harshly for some of the same stuff. Whereas the servers were working better this time, but they had other issues, right? Yeah, all in all, just games in general are like these big franchises. Madden, you can look at Madden, okay? Yeah, it's a yearly release, comes out every single year, right? Oh, I'm sick of these just roster updates, sick of this, sick of that. I mean, let's just be honest here. Like, college football is a step up, and I think it's bringing the fun back. And I can name a million reasons why I prefer it right now to Madden. But is Madden and like NBA 2K and MLB The Show, are they really bad games because they're yearly releases, or is it just that we're burnt out on them being yearly releases, right? If college football had maintained since 14 and consistently put out a game every single year, and we're playing college football 25, would we still have the same opinion of it and it would create this phenomenon of it being back and being amazing, or would it be like, oh, this is just another roster update?
It would be like just another roster update. Probably
Yeah.
be complaining because it hasn't changed. Not enough new features in the past 10 years.
Yeah, but it had to go away for 10 years, like I said, to get people to appreciate it again. You know what I mean? Like it's just interesting, the mental gymnastics, and sometimes that I think we don't really realize ourselves, because we get excited about this stuff, or we get pissed off about these things. And like Magnum in the chat always criticizes me because I'm not complaining about games or as much, or I'm not like criticizing them as much and stuff like that, because in general, for me, like there's a lot of great games out there, and if I'm playing it or paying attention to it, it's probably because it's something I'm looking forward to, or it's good, right? And it's easy to pick apart games and complain all the time, but I'm looking more to have fun, right? So yeah, I don't play games to judge them really in that way. I judge them, I play them for entertainment, and if it's serving me and I'm having fun and enjoying it, it's doing its job, right? And it's just up to me to determine what I pay for and what I don't. So but yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah, I don't know, I guess maybe I'm foolish for that, but
No, because sport games are one of those things that it's like, look, it's Madden, it's the same copy and paste. We're seeing that with MLB The Show, because it's just copy and paste that they've been doing. And it's like, if we got like a every other year or every 3-year releases, but having constant roster updates like you were mentioning, I think people would not be as burnt out, because it's all mental, as like, oh, this is 2015, and I'm playing. We're getting 2020 coming out, and it's going to be different, because in people's heads they think that it's just fresh like that. But constant releases, I don't think is good. I think they need to look at changing things, how they, like, if Madden was in Game Pass and they did you buy the game and then they do constant like roster updates, or even if you just bought the buy the 2020 roster, $20.
Mm-hmm.
People will do that. I'm not paying for
Yeah.
a whole brand new game. I'm just getting a new update. I'm getting a new roster. I don't have to buy it. I can still kick it with the old guys. But if my favorite team, and there's a player that I'm excited to play with, as I'm gonna go pay that, $20 or whatever they think is reasonable for just a roster update. I think it will get that negative stigmata with sport games out, especially with soccer. Soccer is also one of those, just doing a roster. Imagine just doing a FIFA football club, and then you got a $20 roster update.
yeah. I was surprised that like they just didn't, on the sports games, split off Ultimate Team modes into their own free-to-play games that they just constantly evolve and update, and then concentrate more on the regular releases, for franchise mode and all that kind of stuff, and then charge maybe $50 or something for those every year. I think that would be more of a palatable thing, right? Because they make so much money on Ultimate Team and stuff like that. Like, they've gotten rid of most of the ability to even use in-game currency on a lot of the packs. It's like mostly real money now. Like, if you look in the storefront, like maybe there's like 2 or 3 options to buy things for in-game currency. The rest is all just real world points. Like, you have to buy the points and the currency there. And it's kind of like the same on a lot of the games, sports games now. And they make so much money. You see like EA and you see 2K and stuff. You see their like financials. Like, in-game content and monetization and microtransactions and stuff are the bulk of the profit for these companies.
Yeah.
So you understand why they do that, but I don't understand the thinking from these companies to gatekeep the access to those overpriced, ridiculous storefronts behind $70 purchases to begin with, right? I think if they gave more access to those ridiculous, overpriced game modes for free, that you would actually have more players and they'd spend more money. However, I think that would also draw more attention to it, which maybe scares them away from it. Because if they get too much of an influx and people that aren't actually usually playing those games will start to pay attention and start to complain a little bit more about that kind of stuff, right? So
it's gambling.
Yeah, they already had stuff like that in Europe, I think, and won.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, but I like the idea, like what Psycho was talking about, as far as and I priced it a little bit higher for the standard edition, and then a little bit lower or about the same for the annual updates. Like, make it where it's once a generation. You make the base game, has all the stadiums, all the current teams, current roster. So like, let's say 2025 is the new year. You have everybody that's supposed to be listed on there, and you do all the updates for the entire year of 2025. Like whatever classic teams, like if they have classic players from 65 up to 25, have them mixed in there. You pay $100, you get everything up to 25 plus some of the classics. And then the following year, if you just want the 2026 update, it's like between 30 or $40. Gives you all the roster updates, includes all of the stat updates and increases for that year. Any additional like modes and features still come with the standard edition that you paid $100 for. So like, let's say they figure out a way to customize the stadiums. Well, that's still included on the standard, but roster stuff is the main thing that people would buy. Like, I used to be the type of person that would buy Madden every year just for the basics, not even do the online stuff, just to play against the AI. Back then you would get $60 a year out of me guaranteed. Now it's like, yeah, I'll buy maybe if it's the next gen one, and then I'll buy one when my Eagles make it to the Super Bowl or make it to the playoffs, and that's about it. But otherwise, it'd be like, yeah, I'll just do the content packs every year, and you'll get more money out of me, out of that whole generation that they have that game, than you would, me just buying it. Oh, it's the next gen update. The graphics are better, and then they don't really improve much after that, other than maybe the rosters. And then it's like, well, if my main team isn't making it, then I'm probably not picking it up, type of thing. So I don't know. I think that would be the way to go. And like you said, split off the my team or the fantasy stuff. Have it where it's its own thing. I guess the big problem would be the EU with gambling and microtransactions, and how it's for underage kids are buying these or having their parents buy it for them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they would have to figure out something for the EU, I guess. Yeah. But here in the States, that would probably go over well. Same thing, do it for 2K, do it for Madden, do it for all the sports things. But I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what I think that genre is obviously evolving too. I'm curious, EA, what notes they learned from college football's success and take forward to the other franchises. But this could be a good year for Madden also. I didn't play last year's hardly at all, honestly. Like, it was like the least played Madden I've had ever, I think. And that's just because I was playing other stuff. Ultimately, I've always been like a big sports gamer, and college football, I'm fucking hooked right now. Despite my failures as the starting quarterback of the South Carolina Gamecocks, Ken Pardue. Dude, Psycho, is that a game that you're interested in playing, by the way? College football?
Yes. Just give me 1 sec. Hold on.
Okay. Right on, man. Hey, he's on the carousel. He's got to finish the carousel ride. Either that or he's finishing flipping his house.
His one, want buyer's assistance.
He's been playing House Flipper 2, which, Kate is a big House Flipper fan. She loves House Flipper, but she doesn't like House Flipper 2. She didn't like it. She didn't like the changes. Like she said, it's too different and stuff. Like it's like almost like more cartoony and shit. So I don't know. I'm curious to get Psycho's thoughts on that too at some point. But all
Yeah,
right.
they should probably go more realistic graphics on that thing. Like I would probably play that game more if it was like, oh, like an architect's dream or interior designer's dream kind of thing, where it looks real, like Unreal Engine 5 and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the way they should go.
Yeah, there's some other games out there. They have like a hotel renovation thing, like Hotel Simulator or whatever. Like she's been playing. That one has like more realistic graphics and stuff. Yeah, that's a genre that's interesting. The only simulation game like that I've gotten into is Power Wash Simulator. And I just finished the Croft Manor. That's tedious as fuck, dude. Because it was like tall. It's like 3 stories high, bro. Like you have to move the damn scaffolding everywhere even to be able to get to it. But
they have like gargoyles and things like that on the.
Yeah, there's gargoyles. There's like little what do they call, like finials? You know, you got to do those. There's a fountain. Then after you finish that, there's an obstacle course that goes like along the entire grounds around the building, and you got to do the fucking obstacle course. It's pretty damn crazy, bro. Zach Riley says I'm a huge simulation genre guy. They always hook me. Yeah, I don't usually like I said, I don't usually get into them. I do like flight sim, and I like racing sims, right? Like, do you consider Forza racing sim like legitimately, or do you think it's more or less like kind of betweener? Because it's not like Assetto Corsa and shit like that, right?
Right. It's kind of a tweener, but it leans more sim than a lot of others out there. I think they probably could do a couple of small changes for the sim crowd. It's just, I think the big drawback that prevents it from being a true sim is that they don't know how to allow people to mod the game and then not negatively affect like online racing. Like they should have it where you can mod the single player aspect all you want, and then it's like gated away from like the multiplayer, so that way you can't take your modded car, or like if you were to import some cars from like Assetto Corsa Competition or something like that and try to put them into Forza, you can't then use those for online racing. Like that's where they would have to find a way to make it much like a lot of other games, where if you do have modded servers, you can play on modded servers, but if you want to play on the default ones, you turn mods off, then you can enter it. Otherwise, it blocks you from entering. The minute they allow mods in that game, that's when that game really becomes a true sim, because then I can take some of the tracks that they haven't added from like Motorsport 7, put those in. I could modify and take cars from Forza Horizon 5 that aren't in the game yet and put those in, kind of thing. So, but then I think that they're afraid if the modding community gets too entrenched in that game that they'll lose total control on how that game plays. But I think it would be for the best. I think the game would flourish being like an Assetto Corsa where people aren't even racing on tracks. They have like street maps and they're dodging in and out of traffic. Like have those types of graphics from Forza Motorsport or something like that, where you're playing like dipping and dodging in traffic, like on the Tokyo streets or streets of New York and stuff like that. Oh, that would be awesome.
Speaking of,
Assetto Corsa's graphics is dated.
Speaking of Fuzz, Pong shared something with me today, and I am fucking potentially really excited for this. I don't know if you saw it, because he put it in our DMs too, but for those that have listened to our shows in the past, one of my favorite Dreamcast games was Tokyo Xtreme Racer. I just fucking love that game. And there's actually a PC game that was had a prologue for free for a while. It's called Night Runners. It's kind of like paying homage to that kind of genre where you're like highway racing on the streets of Tokyo, you know. But Tokyo Xtreme Racers they've had a franchise. It's kind of been like they've done some stuff in mobile, They did some arcade stuff still. They did stuff in Japan and all these other kind of things. But there was just a fresh Tokyo Xtreme Racer trademark appearing in Japan. And for me, like if that game came back, that would be absolutely huge. So this comes from Time Extension 64 on Twitter. No problem, dude. And it's timeextension.com. Fresh Tokyo Xtreme Racer trademark appears in Japan. This is, or as he says, because in Japan it's known as Shutoku Battle. It says Genki has filed a new trademark for its Tokyo Xtreme Racer in Japan. And he kind of goes through the history of the franchise. There's been other spin-offs: Import Tuner Challenge, Street Supremacy, Tokyo Highway Battle, and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that they brought back this name, Tokyo Xtreme Racer, I'm just curious if you think there's anything. Did you see this, Psycho? It's in the DMs. Like
No.
Pong shared it earlier. They re-registered
How's
the
that work?
trademark for Tokyo Xtreme Racer. And
What?
yeah. Yeah, I know. Do you think this? I'm curious of the chat if you guys remember this game, but Fuzzy, do you think there's anything to this, or like you think it's
I
just?
hope so. I hope there is something to it with the registering of the name. Hopefully, something makes an appearance within the next 6 months to a year, or fingers crossed we get to see it at Tokyo Game Show later this year. I think that's in September, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully, the game is pretty close. We need more games like that. Like, I'm not knocking the festival stuff of as far as like your Motorfest or even Forza Horizon. Love those types of games, but need more of that street racing stuff. Highway street racing, Tokyo, the lights, the scenery, the cars. Like, yeah, somebody really needs to dive into that. And if what do you call them? If Take-Two isn't going to bring back Midnight Club, somebody else needs to step up and do it.
That's another one that needs to come back big time, dude. But yeah, Psycho, there's a chance. Maybe just slim hope for Tokyo Xtreme Racer to come back after this trademark.
Bro, that is awesome. I mean, playing on the Dreamcast, Tokyo Xtreme Racer, that was like the pinnacle of street racing, tuner streetcar racing. That was, I loved it. Flashing your headlights to begin your match. I mean, racing through the cities, downtown Tokyo. I mean, it was one of the best racers during that time, and I'm all about it. We've been mentioning that we want to see Horizon go to Tokyo and kind of give us the same thing, or fuck it, even do a spin-off of tuner racing in Tokyo like this, because it's still big. If you see, there's a lot of drifting is huge in Tokyo still. In Japan, I'm always posting stuff from Slide Japan on my X feed all the time, because that shit is just fucking nuts, especially when they're going through the mountains of Japan, and they're like fucking just weaving in and out of like all the little S curves, and dude, it's fucking nuts. And to get this, just to see this right now, oh bro, I'm fucking excited. As you can tell, I'm all about this. All fucking about this.
Yeah, I hope we get something from it, but we'll see. And then I hope if we get something, it's good. Also, like those games were. I hope it's not just some like little shitty thing, because they kind of went a little downhill with some of the spin-off things they did, like Import Tuner Challenge and stuff like that. You know, but I'm hoping, right? And then speaking of games coming back, I just got to throw this before we get into tidbits. I got to throw this out there. Also, for people that don't know, I was a huge Command & Conquer fan. First PC game I played, unless you count fucking Solitaire, right? Like first PC game I really played that was like a game and got into, right? First game I played online, period, um, was Command and Conquer, right? I think I was 12 years old when I was introduced to it for the first time. This was like back in like 95, right? I remember I was at my uncle's house in San Antonio, and I was with my dad, and we had went to visit my uncle, and we were going to go to SeaWorld and Six Flags and stuff. And I remember this was when the Bulls were playing the Sonics in the finals, because I remember that was happening. What year was that? Do y'all remember what year the Bulls played the Sonics? 95, 96?
It is like 90. Oh man,
All right,
I want
Bulls.
to say 95, something like that.
Bulls Sonics finals was 96. So 1996. That's when I discovered Command and Conquer, because I saw my uncle playing this game on his PC, because he was a gamer, and I see it. I'm like, what is this? And he showed it to me. I'm like, oh my god, I got to get this. So I got home, got it. I fell in love with that game. I fell in love with the genre, right? RTS games. And EA squandered the franchise, right? We had a run of amazing Command and Conquer games for a long time. Disappeared. EA had bought Westwood Studios. They had some good games, but then they kind of floundered and stopped making them. I guess maybe because they weren't profitable enough, or for whatever reason, they destroyed the studio, all that kind of stuff. Out of the ashes recently. By the way, if y'all haven't played Command & Conquer Remastered, I recommend doing it because it's amazing on PC. But there was a game that got announced recently. It was called Tempest Rising, and people had said it's from former devs of Command & Conquer, its spiritual successor and stuff. People say that kind of stuff a lot, right, about games, and you kind of get your hopes up. Oh, we'll see, but then they end up doing some kind of like really shitty twist on it, like turning it into some other kind of blend of genre to try and compensate for the current players and what they're more interested in, and don't really stay true to the core beliefs of what these franchises were about and all that kind of stuff. Well, this game Tempest Rising, I'd kind of in the back of my mind had kind of written it off a little bit, thinking it was going to be one of those things, right? But Pong hit me up last week after PM and the PM and told me that this demo finally for that game had hit Steam. So I installed it. I only played, admittedly, for like 20, 30 minutes, something like that. Okay? I did like one mission. There's like a couple missions they will give to you. And I started the mission. And again, this is Tempest Rising on Steam. I don't think it's coming to consoles. I think it's just going to be on PC. But holy fuck. This game is Command & Conquer. It's just made by Saber Interactive and 3D Realms and some developer I've never heard of. And they pretty much took everything about Command & Conquer, like the style of music. They got the FMV. They got the way you do the buildings and the units and the power plants and like the base defense and the mission style and everything. And it looks great. The graphics are great. It's smooth as butter. Everything about it is as if you change the name. It's like it's a brand new Command & Conquer game. And it's what I would want if they made a brand new Command & Conquer game. So, holy shit, everybody. If you are a traditional RTS fan or a Command & Conquer fan, do not ignore Tempest Rising, because if you want games like this to be made, then you need to try games like this. So try the demo. It's on Steam. And I cannot recommend it enough based on what I've played, because I was instantly sold. I was like a minute in, and I'm like, oh my fuck, this is Command & Conquer. Like, fuck EA. I don't even need them to make a Command & Conquer now. I honestly do not even care if EA makes another Command & Conquer now, because this game exists. That is how much Command and Conquer it is. Fuck them.
Really?
I'll play this. Yes, dude. I'm
I
telling
love
you.
Command and Conquer.
Dude, try the demo. Oh, you can't on your shitty PC.
Oh, yeah. Guess what?
What did you get a PC?
Did you get a
I
new
got a
one?
PC.
What?
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Is that how you're here? I forgot. I meant to ask you.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's how I'm here.
Dude,
Nice.
congratulations, man. What did you get? Like, is it like?
I got it. It was from GameStop. We had them clearance stock, and it was buy one get one, and yeah, I pretty much picked it up for under $500.
Nice, dude. Well, hey,
Wow.
whatever it is gonna be a hell of a lot better than what you're running for sure, right? So like,
Yeah, because it works.
but you'll be able to play this, dude. Go to Steam and install the demo for Tempest Rising, bro.
I definitely will.
I mean, Tempest might as well be the word Tiberium.
Gotcha. All right, I'll have to check that out because I'm huge. I love Dawn of War. Love StarCraft. Love the Warhammer, the original Warhammer.
Yeah, you're like me. You like more of the traditional RTS games, like with base
Correct.
building and defense and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yes. That's my favorite genre. I love that shit. So yeah, if that's what this is, I'm fucking getting chubby right now.
You're my dude, and Pong too. Like, because Pong had told me that the demo's there, but he hadn't had time to check it out yet. Well, and
Okay.
me and Pong will talk about this more on Thursday. But I want to tell you what Pong said too, because he's a Command and Conquer fan like I am. After he finally played it, he's like, bruh, Tempest Rising is straight Command and Conquer. Holy fuck. Fire, fire, fire.
Nice.
Yeah, this is because that's what I told him, dude. I was like, this is Command and Conquer. I don't even give a shit now if EA makes another Command and Conquer. Fuck them. They don't need you. Don't need you anymore.
That
Saber.
means they'll probably make one now.
Yeah, probably. And I'll play it for sure. But Saber Interactive has got us, dude. Saber. Who would have thought, man? But
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm super excited. And that game's coming out this year. So,
Oh, is it?
yeah, it's coming out this year. It was supposed to come out last year. There's not a release date yet, but they said it's this year. But in the meantime, they just put this demo out.
Nice. I'll have to definitely check it out. I'm all about those RTSs.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
what
I'm so happy for you with your PC, man.
Yeah, man. I was excited. It's so it's an Intel 12th gen.
Cool.
It's a 12,700. It's a GPU is okay. It's only a 6600 AMD. But
Whatever.
It's better than a 1660 that's out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's definitely an upgrade from what I had on with my original rig. So that's an upgrade there. As a 500 gig NVMe with a 500 gig mechanical. So
Cool.
yeah, so it's like a hybrid. And 16 gig RAM. So I could always upgrade that. That's not an issue. And it's all brand name. It's Gigabit Mobo. It's AceRock GPU. I think it's Crucial RAM. So it's all brand name components. So it's not, like some pre-builts are total shit. So that's why I was like, and I looked into it. I was like, okay, fuck, this is nice. So I was like,
yeah, dude. I mean, you'll be able to play all the new games and shit on that. Like, you're
yeah,
you're good.
Yeah. There was an RTS that was in on the Xbox app. Fuck, I forget the name of it. I was playing it the other day, but it was crashing on me. So I was like, I gotta go in there and probably lower some of my settings.
Check out Manor Lords.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it wasn't Manor Lords that I downloaded. There was another one. It was like God damn it! I totally forgot what it was fucking called. Now I gotta look at it. God damn it!
That's right.
And I like, and it sucks because my piece, my for my second monitor, the cable for it's a display port, but it goes into a mini
Mini HDMI.
HDMI,
Yeah.
and then this one does not have mini HDMI. It actually has the display port, so I gotta go get a display port. So it's like, son of a bitch.
Right on, man. Yeah, I'm super happy for you, dude. That's awesome, bro.
Oh yeah, dude. I've been fucking. How long have I been? I've been rocking
ever
this
since I've known you.
2012. But
Yeah. Ever since I've known you, you've been on that PC from from 2012, dude. That's insane. But hey, everybody.
Against the Storm. That's the name of the game.
Against the Storm. Okay.
Yes.
We have one
It's a
more
Game
segment
Pass.
here on FSP. This is Tidbits, where we look ahead at the games releasing for the week. And last week was a hell of a week. We'll see how this week stacks up. I think it's going to be hard pressed to beat last week until we get maybe into fall. But I think we got some good stuff here this week, Fuzz, still.
Yeah, this is going to be a decent week, but I think last week was... This first one, he unfortunately skipping my preferred platform, but it's SNK versus Capcom SVC Chaos coming to PS4 and Switch this Monday or today for $19.99.
Yeah.
I guess it has something to do with the Xbox One dev kits no longer being in use or something. I don't know.
I think they'll figure something out eventually and get this and that and the other collection over, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I'm kind of thinking the same, but it'd be nice when they do. Although I'll be honest with you, I would rather Capcom and SNK get together and take their new versions of their games and make one.
Yeah.
Like,
Man,
imagine Street Fighter 6 versus King of Fighters 15.
Oh god, King of Fighters 15 is so fucking good, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
I hope they do something like that, and then I don't care if it's Xbox exclusive or not. That to me would be the better way to do it, just in general.
Did the Marvel vs. Capcom collection come out yet?
I believe so. They're not really doing those big of numbers on the PC side of things. This also came out on PC on Sunday, apparently.
Okay.
But it's classic fighter games. I still enjoy them. But this one's a bit of a weird one here. New Denpa Man.
This looks like a Wii U game, like with a Mii's. Those look like Mii's.
What the fuck
Doesn't
is
list
that?
the price. I'm under the impression it's free to play. Because outside the US, this is listed as $0 or £0. So I'm assuming it's free to play, but it's not even listed in the US store. So I don't know quite why Nintendo didn't do that or did that.
How many of these Animal Crossing like games are there gonna be, dude?
This one is Eti. I hope I'm saying that right. Coming only to PC this Tuesday for, I believe, $19.99. It looks
Very
like
artsy.
a watercolor painting. Yeah, it's kind of like watercolor in gaming kind of thing. Still trying to figure out exactly if this is kind of like well, it's not like a Splatoon type of thing, but I'm trying to figure out, are you supposed to touch certain aspects to colorize them? And I don't know, some sort of puzzling kind of thing. But
It's kind of cool. Tripping.
yeah.
Zach Riley says Denpa Men is free on Switch.
Okay.
feature-rich experience to date.
All right. F1 Manager 2024 for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, as well as PC for $34.99 this Tuesday. Not quite my jam, because you're not really doing the racing, but the cool thing is this gives you all of the other stuff behind the scenes, like picking your drivers, upgrading the pit crew, upgrading components of the car, the research, the aero, team colors, car colors. I mean, I wish some of these things were integrated into other like racing games and stuff. Like these manager games are great, but I wish all of those features were in like, the full-fledged games and stuff. Some of it is, but a lot of it isn't when it comes to like upgrading your team, the crews and research and stuff.
The personalities and needs of your staff and drivers now makes all the difference in your pursuit of points. Favoring a driver can create unwanted.
This is like all the stuff I try and skip in the franchise modes. You know, like I like to like simulate as much as possible with this kind of stuff. And because it's like, okay, I just want to get to the next match.
Yeah. One of my favorite racing games, NASCAR Racing 2003, used to have a little bit of this mixed in, where you weren't creating rivals, but you could have, based on the stats of the aggressiveness of the driver and where they're better suited, like if they're better at oval, like super speedways or short tracks and things like that. You could have it where that guy is a pain in the butt on the super speedways, but a pushover on the short tracks, and always pissed off that you spun him out.
Right.
Just based on some of the stats and things like that. But some of it's fun. But
Game Adaptation Newscast says Mav sounds like Shake from Aqua Teen and Hunger Force. Is that accurate? Do I sound like Shake? As fuzzy as Frylock.
Oh, whatever, man. You know. Just a bunch of nincompoops.
I love that cartoon. I wish it was still going.
Do I sound like Shake? I don't know.
I still think my favorite episode is when Meatwad had the balloon squirrel, and then the thing blew up, and they threw him in the water without his brain, glass shards, and they're like, "Pop the balloon." He's like, all right, stop yelling at me. Do what now?
I can't believe they managed to make these manager games yearly releases as well.
Yeah.
You know, like they got football manager, they got soccer manager, all the managers.
Yeah. Right, this one is Rawman Food Fighter Arena. Right, that was almost a tongue twister there. Coming to PC this Tuesday. It didn't show a price. I'm assuming this is like $29.99 if it's not free to play. I hate when Steam just says wish list it and they don't give you a price until the date that it's available. But if they do charge for this, expect $29.99 or less. I think this is pretty much Splatoon and food fighting kind of deal.
Yeah.
More cubes than the other team. Claim chowder. Get in the zone and suck up that cherished chowder for your team. Meatball.
There's the Meatwad.
Greasy ball of meat to the hole. The hole is the goal.
The hole is the goal? Well, no shit, buddy.
Oh my god.
will then turn you against your friends for a larger
Psycho.
portion of the pie. If you're willing to do what it takes. What does that mean? I don't know, but you'll figure it out.
I mean, this game is coming to PC, but this seems like it would be perfect for a Switch. Although, I don't know. I don't know if the current Switch could run it.
Yeah, there's too much physics going on. I'll melt it.
Coming this summer.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming to Xbox for a little bit. Or console in general. I think it's just PC at the moment. right, this one here is the star-named Eos. Coming to PS5, Series X, Series S, Switch, and PC this Tuesday. I have it on sale. I think it's normally supposed to be $14.99. You can catch it on sale, especially on Switch and Xbox, for $13.49.
It's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
The star named Eos.
All right, this next one is Valley Peaks, coming to PC this Wednesday. No price listing, but I'm assuming this is a $19.99 game.
Another mountain climbing game.
Kind
Or
of like
is that-
mountain climbing, and like there are some sort of like clue things that
Right.
you have to find.
Hang gliding. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of artsy games this week. Like
Yeah.
interesting like color schemes and art styles. This looks very chill though.
Yeah.
Sousa says, anyone enjoying Flintlock? I like Flintlock. It's all right. I haven't played too much of it yet, but like, it's not necessarily my style of game. I've been itching to play more Path of the Goddess, but I'm just too hooked on college football right now, to be honest.
I've played a bit of Flintlock, but only like maybe 2 to 3 hours in. Progress. I think I'm going to put more of my points into the little god box thing, because it looks like that'll be the better way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a Souls fan, so it is Soulsy kind of on the light side, but having fun with it so far.
Yeah.
All right, this one here is Arranger, a role puzzling adventure. RPA, I guess. PS5, Switch, PC, and Mac. Not quite sure why it's not coming to a certain platform, or did it already come to us? I don't think it did.
To be honest, I could care less.
I mean, it's not setting the world on fire or anything like that, but
Yeah, no, I get you. Like, it's weird.
and to me, this would be a game that would make sense for cloud as well as, Game Pass mobile or something like that. Kind of reminds me of Spelunker a little bit, but not like Spelunker. I think is a little bit better of a game.
Is this is on mobile though? Said or no?
Wait, Mac. Wait, no, this one's, well, it looks like it should be on mobile, but it's not. But it
Okay.
is on Mac.
It's on Netflix. Is it on Netflix or just made by Netflix?
Probably
This-
just made by Netflix.
Brett Bingham says I beat Flintlock, which was decent, but boss battles had some jankiness and achievements are disabled unless you don't change difficulty and don't play on story difficulty. Oh, right on.
Temperatures expected to reach a high of 80
The
degrees
Weather
today.
Girl, the
Hope
game.
you have a wonderful Sunday afternoon.
That looks like amazing weather. I want that forecast. It was like in
Alright,
the
this
80s
is-
and 70s, dude.
Good afternoon. This
Yeah.
is Chad Broseph with major.
This is
breaking
Earth
news.
Defense Force
Invasive
6.
species are still reproducing.
Wow, this
PS4,
franchise still exists?
PS5.
Attacking humans.
Yep,
You can
and
connect now to our
PC.
live feed with soldiers
Coming
on the
this
battlefield.
Thursday for
Hello, can you
$59.99.
hear me?
And this is also skipping
Can't
Xbox?
wait to start the fight. It's just fighting.
Um,
Easy. I'm
I
lucky
think
today.
this
The bullets won't hit.
one.
It's already been on
Good
Xbox,
night,
maybe?
everyone.
I
Let's
think
see who kills
so.
the most
Let me
enemies.
double check. No, it's skipping.
I've always wanted to be
Previous
soldier.
ones have been, I think, but
Now my dream comes true. I heard about the war situation.
then again, not to knock the game, just basically seems like a step back from what do you call them? Helldivers 2.
Other games.
Like,
Step back from other
like,
games. General.
Yeah,
Like I
like-
don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I know some people like these games.
And coming
so.
up next,
yeah.
sports.
Like I would rather play Helldivers 2 or
Of course, the
or
power
even
tower.
the actual game that's based on the
Can't work
movie.
like this.
What the heck is it called now? I can't even. Not Super Troopers. What was it called? What was the movie called? Something Troopers.
Yes, a Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
I got Super Troopers stuck on
Yeah.
the brain.
We finally watched Slam and Salmon the other day from the Broken Lizard group that
Mhm.
made Super Troopers.
Yeah, that one was funny. All right, this next game is
Ooh, a tower
Kingdom
defense
Rush
game.
5
Nice.
Alliance. Yeah, this is a mobile game and on PC as well. Coming Thursday. This should be a free to play with in-game purchases, but iOS is saying it's $6.99, and PC and Android are saying register now or add to wish list with no pricing shown. So be prepared to spend $7 just in case.
I like these games, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've played too much of these before.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually there was one that I've been playing on Xbox recently.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's just
It's like traditional tower defense. There's just waves of enemies, and you got to set up your defenses to take them out.
yeah. I just don't like it when Steam and Google Play Store don't list a price. They're like, "Oh, register or wish list."
Yep.
Like, okay, well, how much am I going to have to pay if I do that?
The
Like,
Rasher.
this next one is Thrasher, coming to Quest 2 and 3 as well as PC. Oh no, it's skipping PSVR too. Seriously thinking about trading in my second Series X for a Quest 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it sits downstairs. It rarely gets used. The one upstairs is the only one that gets used for the most part. Although I don't know exactly how often I'll be using the Quest 3, so I figured I'll probably get at least one or two more uses than the
Yeah.
second Series X kind of thing. I was going to save it for wait to see about trading for a PS5 Pro and do that or pay the difference kind of thing, but I don't know if that thing is even real anymore.
We have a Quest 2.
I'm saying it's data mined.
Right.
Yeah.
My daughter doesn't. She hasn't used it. We got it for her a couple of years ago, but she never uses it.
Yeah, my sons use their Quest 2 once in a blue moon. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, this next one is Tokyo Xando X Plus, coming to Switch this Thursday for $49.99.
I think some of the games that released last week should have come out this week.
Yeah. This week is mainly like Switch and PC.
Yeah. That would be crazy, Brett. This is gonna probably get me a copyright strike because I have no clue what the fuck this is. This song, the band is probably. Is this an actual anime, like a popular anime? Because it looks like it, but I wouldn't know.
I honestly don't know. I do apologize.
I don't know. Ooh, maybe. This looks like.
I hope the what do you call them? The game actually looks like this, because I don't know.
Who knows?
Falcom. I don't know. I don't remember anything being called that. So.
One Piece Odyssey.
Yeah, this is probably one of the bigger titles of this week. At least for Switch, or pretty much out of all of them, I would say this is probably the biggest. Is One Piece Odyssey.
This already
the
had
Switch
come
this
out
Friday.
on other platforms, right?
Yeah, years
I
ago.
believe so. Yeah.
I think it came out in like 2020.
hmm
Been out for a long time on PS5, Xbox.
Yeah. Well, they finally ported it to Switch for $49.99.
Jesus Christ.
Wonder how much it is on PlayStation or Xbox right now.
I think they were at $19.99 or something.
Oh, it's been out for so long. I think it's the greatest hits now.
Yeah, it's $17.99 on Xbox, or actually, if you're a pro member over at GameStop, it's $17.09. $19.99 on PS5 and $19.99 on PS4. So only the Xbox version gets Pro Rewards points, and it's $2 cheaper.
Okay.
Interesting.
Because they probably have new for PlayStation.
Well, it doesn't say that either one of them are used or new or anything.
Was that
It's
it?
just the Pro thing. Yeah, that's it.
Wow, what a shitty week.
There are a lot of titles, but like I said, it
Yeah.
this was a Switch week more so. I mean, yeah, there were some PlayStation games. Yeah, there was a handful that came to Xbox as well. But if you're a PC player or Switch player, this was probably some nice small games kind of thing.
Right. Cool. Well, hey, something there for people that like those kinds of games.
Yeah.
But being positive about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, everybody in the chat, you guys rock. Thanks for tuning into this episode of FSP. If you hopefully saw something there you like for this week in games. If not, you got plenty of shit to play catching up from last week and obviously the rest of the year before. But hey, dude, it's awesome to have you back, Psycho. Excited that you got your PC. Tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Chat, thank you for coming out once again. It's great to be back doing podcasting with my friends, and it's always a great experience. And I love it, and yeah, I'm fucking stoked. So you can find me everywhere on social media as Psychonauts 8. I know I've been posting some shit some people don't like. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
I was like, yeah, I mute like words on Twitter, like that tries to clear up as much of any stuff that I don't want to see as possible. So if I don't see it, it's because of that. It's fine. Like most of the political stuff, like if I want to seek that shit out, I will. But I Twitter for me is like gaming and sports, right? And like I see all this stuff now, and I just like mute like all the keywords I can think of. Man, it's done wonders. It's done absolute wonders.
It's all good. But yeah, you can find me there. And again, thank you, chat, for coming out. You guys are phenomenal. Sorry for the butthead we had earlier, but trolls are gonna troll.
He wasn't even being rude. I was just having fun with him. But yeah, I should probably unblock him because that was kind of a dick move. But it's okay. He was trolling. It was trolling. He was trolling. You know what? He's gone. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I don't
fuck 'em.
care. All right. Fuzzy, tell everybody where they can find you.
This was awesome tonight. So much fun being here with you guys. Thank you everyone in the chat for joining us. Bowling or not, it was fun chatting with you guys, interacting with you guys. Greatly appreciate you guys checking out the show. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. For those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. Hope to see everybody here this Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Xbox Ultimate. Hope to see you guys there in the chat. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks again.
Right on, man. Appreciate you. Everybody in the chat, again, thank you so much. We'll be back Thursday for PM and the PM at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, stay tuned. You may see some more Ken Bardu, South Carolina Gamecock streams, Road to Glory mode on College Football 25. But yeah, just if you follow on Twitter on Fun Speculation, you'll find out before we go live. 7 p.m. Eastern Time on PM and the PM for Thursday, and Friday night Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace out, everyone. Have a good one.